Okay, so this part of the process was fairly simple, and I would say quite straightforward. I just needed to hew the last beam out of the trunk. You saw me in the last video from the house that we were hewing and slowly transforming the logs into beams with just the axes. Yeah, and then it was just a relatively simple job of marking out the position of the tenons coming up from the three vertical beams on each wall, and then simply chiseling out the mortise. And I must admit, to mark out these things, it's quite simple. I used the measure stick, the simple piece of oak that you've seen me use all the way through this house build series, to mark out the position of the distance from a face of the wood to where the mortise is cut, and then of course the plumb line, the piece of string with a weight in the end, to make sure that when I transfer lines to the other side of the wood, that they are straight down. Today we're so used to using a piece of metal with an angle, that so it's easy to transfer, but here simple gravity and it works just like a charm. So with the two posts mounted on top of each of the lower walls, it was time to have the center beam, the one that is a bit higher, installed. And I needed to install the two horizontal center posts, simple mortise and tenon jobs, and then mount the top beam. It was a little bit difficult to get it up there and balance everything out, and I actually ended up at some point I ended up dropping one of the beams, and it accidentally hit on one of the knee braces, and it just broke the knee brace in half. So yeah, quite a bit of a blooper. I'll have to address that at some point. But I managed to get it all up there, and it's quite difficult to drill holes up in the height, so I try to drill as many holes as I can on the ground, and then when everything comes together a bit higher up, it's just hammering in the peg. I must admit, it's quite meditative to work, especially in this fresh wood here, and to just slowly work at it, and you have many mortises to cut, and just one by one, and you kind of get into a rhythm, and you get to know the tool, you get to know the wood, and you become more and more efficient by every mortise, and of course more and more precise as well, because I do learn. I'm not an expert here, so every time I'm doing something here, I can feel that I'm getting better, and that's a really rewarding feeling, and it really fuels me on for the next steps ahead. A few months back, when I visited Kim, the blacksmith, you might have seen the video where he forges the log docks for me. We always end up talking about tools and different reconstructions, and I ended up coming home actually with a set of chisels just to try them out, and wow, I was using mainly this one here, a lovely chisel that ends up in a hollow here, like a spear shaft almost, and you just hammer in a small piece of, this is ash. No, wait a second. This is ash that you just hammer in, and the more you work the chisel, the better this thing is attached. And then a nice wide, roughly 3.5 centimeter, 1 inch edge here, tapering out, and there's a lot of force in this tool. And this was such a great pleasure to work with. It is an absolute beast of a chisel. Quite a heavy profile, quite heavy, aggressive, and the way tapering in makes it, this chisel never gets stuck because of the slightly triangular shape. So if you're working deep down in the bottom of a mortise, in one of these joints, the sides of the chisel don't get stuck because they are thinner than the actual blade. It's a brilliant design, and it's of course a replica of a chisel from the Viking Age, much like, for example, the ones you see in the Mestermere chest. Kim also sent me home with this chisel here. He said that this was by far his favorite design, and he was thinking that this would be the chisel I would be most happy with. And to be honest, he might be right. I did not use this as much yet. I don't know why I just grabbed the other one and I fell in love with it, and I've been making all the mortises that you see here in the video with the other chisel. This I think will be amazing for pairing out and precision work with the for the new tenants, and when getting a little bit further into the roof construction, I believe this is a fantastic tool as well, and I'm looking forward, really looking forward, getting to know this fantastic chisel. It's slightly lighter, of course, slightly more elegant in the design. You have this, again, the attachment point here, much like a spear tip, I don't know the English word for it, and then a slim shaft, and then tapering out into this beautiful triangular, insanely sharp chisel point here. Yeah, so it's just fantastic to come home with tools like that, and to be able to put them to test, and I know Kim is looking forward for me giving feedback on how these tools are actually working. I know he appreciates that a lot, and it's just great to be part of, and it's great to get to know. It's I think I've said it before, but it's fantastic to work with reconstructions of tools, and not just reconstructions, really high quality tools. There was one other tool that you saw me using in this video. It was, of course, the drill, the reconstruction of a Viking drill bit, a spoon kind of type auger bit. It was forged for me by one of my viewers all the way from Canada, I believe, if I remember correctly, and sent to me. I did use it in one of the other videos, but today was the proper test for this tool, and it just really, it does an amazing job. I think you saw how fast it actually cuts through and just drills a perfect hole. You might think that a simple drill bit from the Viking Age would be a hard work. It is actually very easy to use. So it really goes to prove that when things are made right, that when the design works, it just works. It's very, and it doesn't take a lot of time. It's very time efficient, and it's just a joy to use. So yeah. The next big part is the roof. And the way I see it right now, there is 3 stages to it. The first stage will be to make and install the rafters coming up, and cladding the wood with some simple planks. This I think is one. I think this is a one-day job, and a part for itself. The planks are not going to be the final cladding of the roof, but it will be the under roof, so to speak, and for a while it will function as the roof. So maybe I can continue working on the floor inside, because it will be, I would say, more or less waterproof with the planks. And then the next step will be to make it is going to be a turf roof, and to keep the turf in place from falling out on the sides and on the edges of the roof. I'm going to need to make almost like a frame standing up all the way around the roof, and in the ends coming up in some kind of a nice cross section, maybe with some decoration, and along the ends of the roof, along the low walls, so kind of like a frame. And for this I am going to need probably oak, quite thick planks, and I will have to scout for material here for a while and find the right material. And there's a lot of detailing on how to attach this and so on. So I think making that frame, the raised frame on top of the roof to hold the turf in place, is another step in itself. And then of course the final step for the roof will be covering or cladding the plank roof with some kind of I strongly believe I will use birch bark if I can get a hold of such big quantities, because birch bark was traditionally used in this type of roofing in Norway, all the way up through the medieval times up to modern times, and I've seen turf roofs, traditional turf roofs being taken apart, and if you go down under the layers, the birch bark under is still like almost like the day it was laid, even 50 years later. So birch bark, and then of course the turf. So I need to cut turf, I need to make some kind of a spade or a shovel. We do have examples of surviving shovels and spades from the Viking Age, and I'll have to do a reconstruction of one of these. And I'll have to use the wagon, and I'll have to dig up turf and transport it here and lay it up so I will have this living green roof with grass and things growing on it. The goal is not to complete this before a certain time, The goal is to come here and have some amazing days and just diving into this, to the building methods and the tools, getting experience with the materials and the tools, the wood, the whole thing, thinking the steps through in my head and just slowly making it happen and learn a lot as I'm going along. That is the main focus. Yeah, so it's just one step at a time, taking it easy. I love having to solve problems here and work wrapping my brain around different aspects of this build, and I'm just having a good time with it. And again, I am so happy that you guys are here with me, following along and finding an interest in this kind of build as well. It's one thing is to be here alone working. I love that, but to know that you guys are watching and somehow I feel you guys are part of the project as well. That's really fantastic. And yeah, so thank you so much for watching and for spending your time with me here at the build site. Uh, it's finally becoming spring here. I don't know if you can hear the birds. We have the deers are starting to come back again. Just when I came down here again to record this small bit here, there was 2 or 3 deers on behind the stream here, on the slope on the other side. Of course, I chased them away, or they got scared. There's a lot going on, and spring is here, and it's just a fantastic time. There's so much crap going on in the world, but it's good to come and find peace wherever you can. So I hope you guys are safe and well, and that you make sure to prioritize to find mental peace and find balance in your lives. It's important. Yeah. Stay safe, and I will see you soon.